Welcome everyone to the D Essence Show. You know, we're doing things from home, so I'm up on it. I'm building new content to put on BronxNet and social media and networks around our communities. So I will be posting this live. I will be saving it because I think it's going to be a real good, important conversation to have. We are in the month of mental health awareness, and we are dealing with a crisis that has kind of turned everybody's world upside down, right? So we're all kind of adjusting. We're going through all these different emotions, fears, doubts, worries. A lot of us are going through happiness and recharging and cleansing ourselves out. And it's amazing. This can be an amazing, it's taking up the whole screen. Well, the main thing is there. So I just want to have her name there and what we're doing. So that's fine. Thank you though. I appreciate it. Nicola, I'll be with you in 1 second. So, you know, sometimes we need tips. Sometimes we need coping mechanisms. Sometimes we need to bring down anxiety. I'm always in a great mood. I've done a lifestyle change and I feel amazing. If you guys are checking out my lives and my check-ins, you know, D to the Essence check-in, you'll see like what my mode has been. But I have such crazy anxiety. Like I've been losing sleep and I don't know if it's just anxiousness or just energy I need to burn, but we're going to figure it out. So we're going to talk to Nicola Pierre-Smith. She's a therapist that deals with mental health within our communities with the Latinos and the Blacks, which I think is amazing because I think we need that. You know, we were always taught to hide all of that. And you know, there's a lot of emotional baggage that we have, you know, and that's why we fail at relationships. That's why we fail, like self-love, you know what I mean? So I want to bring her on. We're going to talk about some stuff. If you guys have questions or comments, put them below. I'll try to get to you as much as possible because she only has a half hour and that goes really fast when you're talking about mental health, coping skills, anxiety, her journey, and just tips, you know what I mean? So let's bring her on. Thank you for tuning in. Share the video because I think it's very important that we bring as many people in here as possible because it is a very important discussion to have. So, all right, let's do this. Let me see if I can bring her in. You guys ready? And if you're not, you better get in line, all right? Good morning, guys. Good morning. I will try to shout you out all after, okay?
Hi.
Hey,
Can you hear me? I'm trying to adjust my screen. Can you see me and hear me okay?
I can hear you. Does everybody else hear her? Put a thumbs up real quick.
All right. Hi, everyone. My first live. Thank you for inviting me. I saw people in the comments saying the pin was too much. If you want, you can take it out because I don't know how much that's affecting them.
Well, it has the title of the show. It has what you do in your name. So I feel like that's what I need to be seen. And then if they want to put more, they'll see they'll just see what we're talking about. So no worries. Don't worry about that. Let's just talk because I know you have limited time. I want to thank you for taking up my offer. I know you was I felt like you was a little hesitant to do the live.
I was because I've never done a live
cherry.
Yeah, I've never done a live before, so I'm excited. We'll see how it goes.
Yes, I'm excited for you too. It's very important. First of all, I want you to introduce yourself and let us know what you specialize in.
Okay, so I've been a therapist for 8 years, Jamaica, by way of Jamaica. So I'm from the Caribbean.
Nice.
So, you know, there are a lot of islanders in New York and in the Bronx. So from the Caribbean, I've been practicing for 8 years, and I specialize in trauma treatment services.
Wow. So your plate must be full right now because we are kind of traumatized what's going on. Like even if we're handling it well, we're still traumatized by what is taking over the world right now. How are you doing, first of all? How are you handling all this as a therapist and yourself?
So thank you for asking. So how I have been handling it is something that I tell everyone. I'm setting boundaries on my time, hence the saying, well, I have 30 minutes, I have some other things to do. So setting boundaries on my time, setting boundaries on my emotional availability, because I'm providing emotional space for clients and then my friends and partner and also myself, so understanding that my bandwidth is only so much. So setting that limit there and then resting and self-care.
All right. So we cater to women, right? That's the focus, right?
So my handle,
Mm-hmm.
when I started that, I actually started last year, March, and that came from, I was just at an author's workshop, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember someone that was African American sharing her story that she suffered from postpartum depression, and in the Black community, that is something that does not, it's not spoken about as
Mm-hmm.
much. Similarly, fertility and infertility issues are not necessarily spoken about too often, and she kind of spoke about not knowing that that was a thing that existed, and then viewing herself as being weak because she suffered in that way after she gave birth. And at that point, I thought, like, oh, there are a lot of Black and brown people who are not having these conversations. And at the time, I wasn't even using social media. So I figured, like, oh, let me start this page and just put tidbits out there. And it's grown from that.
Amazing. And the word needs to get out. You know, we've always been shut down with our emotions, and now, you know, a lot of us are older and we've gone through things and we're damaged. We're damaged, and that affects our dating, that affects our friendships, our relationships, our work, our self-growth. Do you have
And
any?
I don't know if I would necessarily say that we're damaged or that
Okay.
we've been affected by these life experiences, right? Because if we're going to say we're damaged, that gives the impression that we're broken. And I don't necessarily perceive that as what's going on. I just see that everyone, regardless of who you are, but especially in marginalized communities, that they've had these life experiences that are damaging, but the person isn't damaged.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's not say that we're damaged goods. Let's not say that we broken,
Right.
because
Because
we're
if
not.
you start, yeah, think about it. Like anyone in a relationship, if they enter that thinking that they're damaged, then that affects the people that they're choosing. And then that affects how they're interacting with with the person in the relationship.
Absolutely. I
So
just want to
definitely
let
get
everyone.
that out of your lingo, not damaged goods.
Right, right. I just want to let everyone know that this information, it's all for female and male. It goes across the board. So do not leave the chat, share it, empower. Real quick. Any coping skills that you can advise us? There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of worrying, there's a lot of negativity, and it's just crazy out here. Is there any tips you can give us? There's a lot of, you know, individuals that are dealing with abuse at home, kids, you know, that are hungry, are dealing with abuse as well, that my heart goes out to, people who lost people. We have pregnant females at home that are kind of like trying to find themselves. Is there any tips that we can go to, like resources or just anything that we can do at home at this time to kind of bring down the anxiety?
So you brought up a few different things because coping skills that would be effective for children are very different from coping skills that would be effective for adults. There is some interplay, but very different if we start with like kids. So one of the things that kids are lacking right now is structure and predictability. And if a child is in an environment that it's typically chaotic and maybe school was providing structure and they don't have that, something that the adults around them could try to help to support is a routine that happens in the day. So a routine, something that involves something fun, something educational, and something social. You know what I mean? So kids are into like gaming. Well, arrange like at this time of the day, you get some gaming that you get to do on free play. And that
Right.
would be helpful because they can predict what their day looks like as everything is so uncertain right now. And then with an adult, in terms of coping skills, I know you had talked about or you brought up domestic violence, and then people who are pregnant, also their coping skills look very different. So if we're starting with someone that's in a home that does not involve domestic abuse, and domestic abuse can be domestic violence, which is physical, emotional, or financial. So for people who
Mm-hmm.
aren't in homes that involve that, something that they could look at too, it's like, where are their anxiety and stress coming from? Is it something that's financial, they don't have enough resources? And if that's the case, the coping skill then is like, how can you get information on like where are food banks, where are different resources available? So you want to find that and asking your community. Maybe your neighbor knows and you don't have the information. So people that you trust, really looking for those resources and asking questions to get information, because what we don't know, that's what a lot of anxiety and fear comes from.
Yeah, a lot of people lack the resources. And guys, every zip code has a community board that serves you. I vouch for it because I work for one. I work for Southern Boulevard, District 2. And we have resources for any food, diapers, like whatever I find, I put up. So guys, reach out to your community boards. They're open if you need any help, okay? That was
The
great.
other one I didn't answer though, because you mentioned domestic violence.
Uh-huh.
So for those people, something that people really need to understand is that typically they're in the home with the person that's causing the abuse, and if we're quarantining at home, they're essentially at home with that person with no relief. So safety is the issue for that person. So for them, I'm not sure what the resources are in New York, but it's like national abuse hotlines that they want to like reach out to, or like the crisis text lines that they can reach out to. So 741-741, that's a crisis text line that anyone could even like reach out to get additional resources. Now for that, the other thing is like, do they even have access to their phone? So it's all this working around coordinating when is a time that they could get access to a phone or get access to someone else. So in terms of like basic coping skills, if they're able to have their time in terms of do they get any privacy in the bathroom, like could that be a space where they get like a breather just to like take some deep breaths, calm down, and then try to re-engage in terms of how are they problem solving throughout their day, because for them it's like minute by minute that they're engaging in a potential abuse situation.
All right. What's going on with the suicide rate? And speak to them. I'm going to close this window because I don't want the noise coming through, but
When you
keep
say
speaking
suicide
to them.
rate, what's your exact question when you say what's going on with
Um,
it?
I don't, I'm sure you do your research because that's your job. I just want to know if you come across any research of the rate just going high of suicide. You know, a lot of people say, oh, he committed suicide because of what's going on. No, it's not that. That is mental health. That is an issue from before. So can you just explain that just a little bit, or kind of
So
just
I could explain like some preconditions that could lead to that. So someone taking their life, it's not necessarily just that the coronavirus has caused that. That's okay. Similarly, like the essence was saying that their pre-existing condition was someone feeling helpless and hopeless in their life, that they didn't think that there was anything to live for.
Mhm.
Did they have a mental illness, which is different from mental health, like a major depressive disorder that they were really struggling with? Could that have contributed to it? Or also significant abuse in the home, where this person is thinking that it's their only escape, and it's usually not. So I want everyone to know that like taking your life is usually not the answer. Like there's a lot of research that shows that for people who attempt to take their lives and it's unsuccessful, that something that they usually think about immediately as they're like about to do that is regret, like not wanting to have done that, because they're thinking about whether it's like life goals that they want to achieve or people that they love and care about that they will leave behind, and entire communities too that will lose them.
Now, I came across something actually on your page that kind of resonated a little
Oh,
bit.
did you find my page?
I was looking for mental health and I wanted to I wanted to be with someone that was like us and represent for
Mm-hmm.
us. And I came across your page, I did a little research and I said, oh, she looks fresh. Like, I haven't seen your face. I feel like you need to be broadcasted. I just felt something. I was just like, let me hit her up. I didn't want to use a celebrity for it or anything like that. I want to use someone real of substance. As I was looking at your page, I saw that you kind of gave a meme about speaking to family versus friends. And when we
Okay.
deal with suicide thoughts, what are your tips on that, on how to vent out for the ones that are not doing it? Some don't want to go to the family, some don't want to go to the friends. How do we
The
handle all
first
of that?
thing is like anyone who hear it, and I don't want to put this blanket label on it like suicide thoughts, but anyone who's thinking about not being alive, like they're thinking, oh, you know what, I don't want to be alive. Everything would work out if something just hit me, or if I wasn't here, is that anyone who hears that needs to take it seriously.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
not like, oh, they're attention seeking, or that's so and so, that's the way they talk. Definitely take that seriously, finding out what's going on with the personnel. The reason I say like not bringing, and I don't want to say don't talk to your friends about that, bring it up if it's coming up, because if they're people that you trust and who care about you, if they're your friends, they'll take it seriously and then try to get you the help that you need. So it's like there's
Absolutely.
this concept of mental health first aid that a lot of like hairdressers and barbers and we call them paraprofessionals, that they're not necessarily therapists, but they get training in mental health concepts, and that's one of them, that they would be able to take this seriously and then redirect someone to services that they need. So the question that you're asking, if a friend hears that, say, hey, you know, do you want to talk to someone? Do you want me to be on the phone with you? I can come over, we can talk it through, ensuring that the person is not alone, figuring out what's around them. Is there anything that they could potentially use to harm themselves, and getting that removed from the environment?
Nice. In your opinion, through your research, your experience, your clients, being a minority, being a female, why do you think that our mental health is so high when it comes to us Latinos and minorities? I see it all the time. I see it on the trains. I'm like, oh my God, like, what were we, like, what kind of homes were we being brought into? You know what I mean? That now we're like, I don't know. I need you to explain that a little bit to me,
Yeah.
because I see a lot
Yeah,
of
I
it.
can start from talking about the difference between mental health and mental illness. Maybe that would
Okay.
be helpful. So, mental health, like physical health, everyone has it. Doesn't matter where you come from, you have mental health the same way you have physical health, because mental health is anything that involves your mood, your thoughts, your behaviors, how you view yourself, and how you interact in the world around you. Now, a mental illness is a disorder that disrupts all of that, like disrupts your mood, disrupts the way you think about yourself. So, for marginalized communities, there's a lot of mistrust in the mental health or even medical health field, and that comes from historical like things like minority people being used in research maliciously and not being informed.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so there's some mistrust in the health space. So that's one of the reasons why someone who has the resources to seek out mental health services wouldn't. On the flip side of that is
And there's
that,
also that stigma too, not to interrupt you, but there's
right,
still like that
so that,
stigma of therapy. Like, come
yeah,
on, guys, get with it.
yeah,
Self-care.
so the stigma is that if I have to talk to a professional, that means something's wrong with me, that I'm weak or whatever it is, and that's not the case. And I was talking about if someone has resources, if someone doesn't have resources, that's the other thing. Like, if we're being real, therapy isn't cheap. So if someone's not working, that if they don't have resources that covers it, or if someone is on Medicare or Medicaid but they can't find a provider that would help them, that becomes a barrier. So
Absolutely.
we're talking about resources, right? And then going into like gendered differences, that someone who identifies as female, all the research says that if a female has like a headache or cramping or something, they're gonna take that a little more seriously than someone who identifies as a male would, because they're like, oh, you know, I can tough it out.
Right.
The thought. So that is like that enduring piece of it. The other thing is there are not many people who look like us, and they exist. It's whether it's marketing or can't find them, but providers who look black or brown, you're not necessarily seeing them.
Right.
So if you're not seeing them, it's not being broadcasted too much. I think like maybe in the past 3 years or so, you're starting to see media representation of that. So the thought then is like, oh, that's not for me. Like, those people get help, those people go to therapy, but definitely not me. And that's not true. It's just that it's harder to find
Right.
a provider
Right.
that will
Because
look like you, if that's what you prefer.
yeah, you do want to be in a comfortable space and feel like you're speaking to someone that can relate to you. Same culture or same experiences. It helps a lot. So that's also a trust issue as well.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily because a therapist's job is not to necessarily assume that they know everything. Like, oh, I don't know the experience of every islander or every marginalized group, but I have a basic understanding because I know what my life experiences have been within that. So for that person, it's important for them to know that. It's just that it would be a little easier in terms of explaining some things.
Guys, we're here with Nicola Pierre-Smith. She's a therapist, mental health, woman
I was watching
empowerment,
the time. I have
empowerment across the
7 minutes.
board. What is it?
I was saying I was watching the time. I have like 7 minutes.
Okay, we have 7 more minutes. If
Yeah. How are
anybody has
you taking care of yourself, the essence?
oh my God, I've made a 360, girl. I'm drinking a gallon of water for the last 2.5 months. I'm
Yeah,
working out. I'm
hydrating.
sweating. I'm eating different. I'm on a fast. Girl, I never thought I would be living this ever, but God has come to me and said, "Let's do it," and I did it. And I feel great. I feel great. My journey has been amazing. Yes, there's been sad moments. There's been emotional moments. Fear, confusion, but I've never let it take over me. I just kind of go day by day. God got us. As long as my money's coming in, my family's good, my home is good, I'm good. But I will admit, I do have a lot of anxiety. It's been 2 nights that I haven't slept. Last night I went to bed at 4. I was up at 8:30. I suffer from anxiety, but it's like at a high. It's like at an 8, and I'm happy, and I'm anxious, and I'm excited. And I'm like, where is this anxiety coming from? I do reach out weekly to someone and vet out because I have a lot going on. I was going through a lot too personally. Nothing bad, but just life changes. I went through a divorce. I went through leaving my job after 10 years and just kind of saying, you know what, let God take care of what it's got, because I have this reality that's been my dream, and that's what I'm going for. Do you have any tips on like how to just calm down? There's a lot of people that are having sleepless nights. I know people are not as busy on the move as we usually are, so we have all this energy, even though we're tired, but we have all this energy, and a lot of people are up at night. Do you have any tips before our 7 minutes is over? And also, I think there was something I was no, go ahead, answer that.
Yeah. So before I answer it, I want to say like, that's good for you, like overcoming everything that you've overcome and just like
Thank
sharing that
you.
publicly, because those are very private experiences that you're deciding to like share
Absolutely.
with us. But to the question, what you're talking about, like restlessness, sleeplessness, or disrupted sleep, where someone may fall asleep and then they have struggles maintaining sleep, can come from anxiety. And I mean, some strategies, they're always, you have to individualize them to a person, but some general things that people could consider is looking at their routine. Like, how are you going to bed at night? Before you go to bed at night, are you scrolling like your social media feed? Is that something that you're
I'm
doing?
on D Nice's DJ sets every night, okay? I have an
Right? Like,
addiction to D Nice. It's
so
his fault.
yeah, so what that's doing is it's stimulating your brain. So
Absolutely.
especially if he's playing some really good jams, like that's stimulating your brain rather than putting you in a calm sleep state. Not that the songs are bad or anything bad's going on. It's just that you're stimulating your brain in that way. Also the phone screen. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you want to watch for at night, looking at what's your caffeine intake. If you drink coffees or teas, you want to drink that like maybe 2 hours before you go
Okay.
to sleep, or a little earlier. Or if
Okay.
you are a soda drinker, like you want to ensure that you're limiting that later in the day. And also you want to have some kind of routine that tells your body it's time to calm down. It's similar to like babies, if you're giving them soothing shower
Such a
before bed,
small. It's such
right?
a
So
challenge.
yes, it's like, what exactly are you doing right before bed? It's something that your body knows, oh, it's winding down, you're safe, you're in bed. Like, what are even the things that are going through your mind, like catching those thoughts and just like helping your brain to say like, oh, acknowledge that thought and I'm not going to hold on to it. Like, oh, I have this thing due tomorrow, here's my to-do list, but it's like, oh, I have these things due and I can think about it tomorrow. Right thought. Yeah. Yeah, like
Write it down, guys. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't need to write it down." Write it down. Get it out. Get it out.
someone said, but we need D-Nice to get
Oh,
there.
we
It's
do, girl.
quarantine.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
and the
save you.
thing
Let me
is, like,
tell you.
what's your limit? Because I know that he does like hours. Like, how many
Hours.
hours are
He's
you sitting?
addicted. The thing is that he's actually addicted. He's bringing us into his addiction
Yeah, like
because he's going through
sleep's
his own thing.
important. You'll always have another set going on. You're not missing anything.
Absolutely. Before you leave us, what was your reasoning for getting into mental health? Did you have any challenges, hardships? Did you go through anything? Not to get too personal, but just
Mhm.
give us a little background of, how you got into mental
Yeah.
health because it's
So
not easy.
my primary reason, because initially my major was gonna be something in economics or accounting, so it was
Hmm.
supposed to be like a business major. Coming from I'm from the Caribbean, and mental health isn't even validated. I think in New York they have a hospital called Bellevue.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a Bellevue where I'm from, and it's the only psychiatric hospital in the English-speaking Caribbean. To tell you how much it's like not a valid thing that only one exists. So
Absolutely.
and when I got introduced in high school to sociology and psychology, I thought like, oh, I was fascinated about how the brain worked, and then I had people
Yes.
within my family system who struggled with that, and I thought like, oh, this is something where clearly there's an issue that needs to be addressed on different rungs, whether it's socially, individually, geopolitically, and people aren't addressing that. So I figured like, oh, this is something that one, there's a need. So this is my business brain. There is a need, so I can help with the supply
Right.
to address that need. And it's also like giving back socially.
Yeah. You're actually making a difference in people's lives. So I think that's your calling.
Yeah, thank you. Like,
Absolutely.
think about it like you help one person, that person's life changes, they help all these other people.
We need people like you, and I don't want to hold you up because I know you have a busy day. Is there anything you want to say? Is there any one tip for individuals to hear? Even our men out here, we the men are going through things too, and we need you men, but we need you guys to be men, you know?
Well, and I guess that's a good thing, something that I could leave everyone with, saying that we need you men to be men or women to be women. It's like getting rid of the shoulds in our life, what we should do and what we shouldn't do, because that places a lot of pressure on
Mm-hmm.
people. So I think it's everyone thinking about stopping to think, how are you talking to yourself about yourself? Like when you started, like saying, we're damaged. No, like you're not. You've been through damaging experiences. So just listen to the way you're talking to yourself about yourself. That's something that I want to leave people with.
And can you let everyone just know that it's okay to talk to yourself, even out loud? A lot of people are living alone. I'm sure there's a lot of talking to yourself and maybe answering yourself back. There was always a stigma like it's okay to talk to yourself, but if you answer yourself back, you're crazy. And I actually read something that says it's actually very normal. It's a venting mechanism. You're your best friend. You're clearing out your brain. You're listening to yourself and you're putting it out there. Now, when you're talking to yourself and answering yourself back and you don't know that you're doing it, that's when the issue comes in. Can you just clarify that just
So
before you leave?
clarifying, so that goes to the differentiation between mental health versus mental illness. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a mental illness that there are different thought disorders, or what they're called. The one that you're mostly seeing in like films or the media, or when someone says someone is crazy, usually what they're referring to is
On the trains.
someone who has, it's called schizophrenia. So when
Mm.
someone has schizophrenia, it's a thought disorder. It affects the brain chemicals. So they're responding to stimuli that you or I can't see, hear, or feel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hearing voices, maybe, or they're hearing messages that's coming through the radio, the TV, things like that, and they're responding to it because that's real for them. So
Yeah.
or they're feeling things on them, like, so it's auditory, visual, or tactile hallucinations that they're having, and that's what they're responding to. For us, if we said, oh, like, Nicola, did you really just do that? And I say that out loud, I'm not responding to any internal stimulus that's happening. So for me, it's not a mental illness. It's just like, oh, my coping skill. I talk this thing out and I let it go. So that's the difference there.
Awesome. All right, babe, we're gonna let you go. This was a great conversation. I would love to meet you in person when we get back in studio. Hopefully you can drive down from PA and just come visit me.
To be in your...
Yeah, and I hope that you're being safe and sane as well. You know, you're doing an amazing thing. So I thank you for joining us on live. People follow her if you have. Are you open to like answer any questions or concerns through IG or your website? Please promote your information.
So the Instagram handle, Melanated Women's Health, same as the website. And if people have questions, I'm usually responsive if they send me messages or if it's even in the comments.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that was great, guys. Just want to thank everybody for joining me. I want to say hello to everyone. Get in line.